Welcome Libra to your Libra March 2021 reading and forecast. This month we're going to use tarot. And as you subscribers, love and affection to you, as you subscribers know, we very often have astrology come into it, numerology and mysticism as well, don't we? And we only draw 5 cards because that's all we need, because each one of them is jam-packed with information that's of real use and benefit for you. Now, by the way, I've read for a number of you beautiful Libra people, men and women, recently, and it's been great to get to know you personally. And if you would like to have a one-on-one private face-to-face clairvoyant reading with me, I use a little bit of tarot, but it's mainly clairvoyant, and I use playing cards and other things as well. Then just check out the information that's in the description box below, and you will find out how easy it is for that to happen from wherever you may be living in the world. But now, let's get underway for the March reading. And the cards that are coming to us are, wow, there's the Ace of Cups. You are going to absolutely love the artwork on these things, you know. There's the 9 of Cups. Things are looking fantastic for you. There's the Lovers. Wow. Woo. Who knows what that means? Actually, where that is, it depends what other cards are around it. I'm not going to give too much away yet. The energy's starting to come through already. It's a great vibe. I can feel getting goosebumps, which is always a great sign because it means, oh, that's not a card. That's a description from the publisher of what the cards are published in. There's the Queen of Coins. God, I love the imagery on this stuff. I'll point out some other stuff to you while we're doing it, because I think you'll find it as fascinating as I do. And you love art and things of beauty, don't you? So you will really find this enjoyable, I think. And there is the Knight of Cups. Ooh, that looks like Rasputin. You know, that guy that was having an affair, apparently, with the Tsarina, the wife of Nicholas II, according to the gossip, but just prior to the Russian Revolution. The Romanovs were all executed by the Bolsheviks, as I recall. Now, here's the cards, or here are the cards. Why don't you come and have a look at them with me while I do the reading for you? Now, next month's reading will take place will be published on Wednesday, the 10th of March at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. Fascinating. Let's have a look at this Ace of Cups first, shall we? Let's have a closer look at the image on it and see what it might tell us for you for this month. Well, what we have here is a fountain, represents the Suit of Cups. Its base is made up of broken ice and shells, as you can see down here, with a pearl. Do you see this little thing here? There's a pearl in the center of it. And in spite of the ice, a mother tabby cat tends her 3 kittens. This is the little cat down here. And one is white, one is red, and one is black. And that's at the base of it. Now, the stem of the fountain is made up of a sinuous dragon's tail, the tortoiseshell color, and a heart. See the heart? There it is there. That's quite interesting. The underside of the basin is made up of swan feathers, as you can see there, and also of quite luscious fruit. Now, a woman sits in the basin, and she is nursing 2 infants, one on either breast, and she tramples a snake which is underfoot, as we can see there. 2 horned dolphins guard her. There's one, and there's the other. They're looking after the nursing mother that's there. And there is a sad face and a happy face spouting water into the hexagonal basin. There are the little fountain heads that are there. The fountain is topped by a dove, a symbol of the Holy Spirit in Christian tradition, and from its beak drips blood, which goes down the front of the dove itself and falls into the lotus flower beneath it, and through the fruits of the fountain basin and down into the stem below. The Lord of the roots of power of water. Quite an evocative image, I think you'll agree. Do you know I have a lot of Libra specifically around this card, this energy at the moment? And I think also Sagittarius and a Scorpio may well be important to you. Now, the Cups suit embodies your experience of relationship, pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, and pleasure. But we can't have these experiences without the opposite. This is talking about love in its purest sense, abundance. There may well be a new relationship or the reinvigoration of an existing relationship. You may well hear of a birth or a pregnancy. Certainly sensual passion is around here, and emotional balance is available to be used and drawn upon by you for a good 6 months after this. Now, the cup of unconditional love is being offered to you. Will you drink from it? It's a good opportunity for new relationships. They don't just have to be romantic relationships, although there is the opportunity for romantic relationship here. But it could also be social relationships or business relationships. And as I say, I'm very much getting the indication of a birth around here. And this card represents unconditional love. So you should also give and forgive unconditionally to get inner peace. You know, love is a funny creature. When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep, and when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his feathers may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he also descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. Yeah, you are in contact with all-embracing love. It fills you, and you can pass it on generously, lavishly to others. What is your way of expressing love? Let this card work on you for just a while, and say to yourself, all-encompassing love fills me and my environment. Well, where shall we go to next? Well, I think we'll take what is the foundation of this card, which is the Queen of the Thrones of Earth, otherwise known as the Queen of Coins. Now, I told you that I had Sagittarius here. I also have Sagittarius in this card here, and also a Capricorn. So they may well be important to you during this period here. What does this image have to say to us? An exotic woman is dressed in billowing blue, gold, and pink robes, the colors of the suit of coins. Now, I think she's like the allegory of Venice by Paolo Veronese. An artist. It's a long story. She tosses a coin up into the air. You see that there? And that shows a mother nursing 2 babies. And from a golden bowl in her lap as you can see there. Coins, an abundance of gold coins. Just go forward. Now she wears a Venetian crown in the same way that the king would do. For Venice, actually, and this is like a medieval Italian deck, Venice was the Renaissance republic with an aristocracy of rich merchants running the show. Now the ground is green, and the background has here a cornfield going through there, and poppies. There's a rich dish of boiled ox head here with a lemon in its mouth. Have you ever had ox head to eat? It doesn't look like that when I've had it before. I don't think I could run to it if that were the case. There's also here a glass filled with sapphires, and next to it is a plate here filled with pills and medicines. The Queen rests her foot on a red cushion that's down here, and if I'm not mistaken, embroidered upon that red cushion is an effigy of the Kabbalistic demon Lucifuge Roscale. Now this speaks to me as being a time when you are going to be ambitious, affectionate and kind, charming. There's a possibility that you might find that you are even a little timid at times, and I'll get onto that in a second. You'll be practical, maybe quiet. Certainly this is a very good energy for those involved in doing things around the home. You see, the character of this woman, I think, here is one who is ambitious, but somebody who works with instinct and intuition rather than with the intellect. Now, that's not to say that you don't have a very fine intellect, which you do. You have a mind like a steel trap. But this is a time, I think, for you not to over-intellectualize things, but rather go along for the ride and work with instinct. Because she is quiet, hard-working, practical, sensible. But just make sure that things don't become purely mechanical for you during the period. Now, the person represented by this card can possess the finest of the quieter qualities, and they can also, in a reticent and unassuming fashion, be actually quite lusty and sexy. Well, it's always the quiet ones, isn't it? And she can sometimes be, on her dark side, be taken into getting into the drink and into the liquor, almost as if the only way that she can find her essential happiness is by getting out of herself. So I think that this is a time when you'll keep practical. You'll find that you have a great compassion for other people, and you'll have a nurturing attitude to others, and also to your own particular circumstances. Now, this is important, because you usually give so much of yourself, don't you? Well, it's important that you also nurture yourself and go with the flow. Now, I think she also represents health and diet, and so that's something which you should take care of during this period, and go forward quietly without an overt attack on existing situations. I feel here that you have passed through something of an arid stretch on your journey, and you are now arriving in more fruitful surroundings. Now you can rest and devote some attention to yourself and your physical needs. In what ways have you neglected your body, your outer self? Do you indulge yourself? Say to yourself, I give my body the gift of loving attention. It gives me the gift of life, joy in living, and of health. Well, next we'll go and have a look at the children of the voice divine, the oracle of the mighty gods, otherwise known by most as the lovers. Let me just have a look at that card. Yes, okay. Let me point out a couple of things on it here. Well, first of all, it looks to me like this Lovers card is modelled on the same card from the 15th century Visconti Sforza tarot. A man and a woman clasp hands, the woman gazing at the man and the man looking upward. They willingly pledge their love and their desire to stay with one another as they stand on a forking path which is just near an abyss. On the left is a rugged and hard land, as you can see over there, all rugged, full of difficulty and everything there. And on the right is a pleasant and sunny land. The choice of vice is here, and the choice of spirituality and virtue is over there. Above the Lovers is the centaur Chiron, right? From the old myths, who was renowned for his beneficence and wisdom, and after his death he was exalted to become the constellation Sagittarius, the zodiacal sign that rules free choice. So that no doubt is where I was getting that Sagittarius energy from. But technically, I've got to say here that this is Mercury ruling Gemini with Dragon's Head exalted. Dragon's Head, you will recall, is that north node of the moon. Now the meaning of this energy here really centers around the reconciliation of opposites. I think there will be a need for you to look at all angles before making a decision. You may well be called upon to be a mediator or a peacemaker of some description during this time, you know. People are going to come to you and say, hey, how can I sort out this problem with so-and-so? And you will be looking and have a need to find harmony in relationships. Now, it's quite possible that there may well be a major life decision or choice that comes before you on the direction ahead of you. Now, this may not necessarily seem to be major at the time, but when you look back, you'll say, oh, I remember when that happened. I remember that was the time there. Now, what this also says is that there may well be a mutual attraction and sexual connection. But again, this is a major arcana, and so we're not looking at a one-night stand. But there is love, attraction, connection, union of opposites through love, and that's not surprising given that this was here as well, and becoming conscious through relationship, choices, partnerships, maybe being at a crossroads in relation to something. You may well find that you are going into a project with somebody else, maybe a business venture with somebody else. For some of you, you will fall in love, but there will be definite commitment in relationships that you have. You could hear of an engagement, and, well, maybe for one or two of you, you may be in the fortunate or unfortunate, as the case may be, position of having to choose between two lovers. You may also find that you choose to know or find out something, but that means that when you do learn about it, you can't unlearn it. It's almost like the choice to leave the Garden of Eden. It's a turning point. This is about the synth. You'll have an extraordinary gift in dealing with people of all ages and a really good understanding of things that seem to be in conflict or in opposition with each other. Relationship is going to be a focus for you, personal development and growth, and you will be committed to unification. Now, I don't know if you're a therapist, but you could make a very good therapist at this time, because you'll have a very good insight into what is going on in other people's headspace. Now, I must also say this, that there's something around here of a triangular relationship. Now, that's not just romance, but it could relate to business or a social type of thing. And for some people, This is going to be a time for making a commitment or a decision to go ahead and get married. And for others, as in the abyss, it is a time to separate and divorce. Let's have a look, shall we, at the Lord of Material Happiness. And here is the image. Now, what can I see from that? Well, this card has the central figure here, the central figure of victory. It's this woman here with the trumpet, because she is blowing a trumpet and holding a laurel wreath. The brow of this ship is guarded by now this is the brow of the ship here. Well, this is a stylized version of it, I think, but it seems to be, well, what I take to be the saint, guarded by Saint Lucy, the patron of illumination and wisdom, who is symbolized by an eye and 9 cups, which around here, they all have inside them the figures of pregnant women. Now here we have Jupiter ruling, I think, the second decan of Pisces, where it's placed up there, the 1st to the 9th of March. Now, in classical astrology, Jupiter rules Pisces, and so there's a very strong complementary energy here, and Jupiter's philosophical approach aligns well with Pisces spirituality. Jupiter also just flat out brings good luck and happiness. So I see here bliss, overflowing love, deep joy, blessings. And you'll have the fulfillment of the goal of love. Wishes are being granted, and reward for your efforts, a very bright future. 9, the 9 of Cups here, mystically is associated with me with the moon. And so that strengthens the idea of water in cups, because it looks after waves and tides and things like that, doesn't it? So a really, really good card for you, this. This moment is filled with harmony and inner joy. Open yourself to it totally. Don't miss it. Where do you seek, and where do you find your true happiness? Breathe and feel, and if you happen to be alone, enjoy your solitude. If you are together with others, enjoy their presence. If you have a job to do it in silent devotion. But whatever your personal situation, say this to yourself: happiness is my natural condition. Now, this final card has something to say to you as well, because I see some Libra around here. Now, I'll tell you what, I also see Scorpio, I have to tell you. So a Scorpio could be important to you, but I saw that Scorpio here as well, didn't I? So really, Scorpio, Sagittarius, they're the 2 signs that I'm getting. I've got something to do with you during this month. It could be their ascendant, if not necessarily their sun sign. Let's look at the imagery and see what we can tell. Well, this looks to me like the figure of Rasputin, that monk who was the advisor to the last Tsarina of the Russian Empire, Alexandra. Do you remember Nicholas and Alexandra? They were the last of the Romanov royal family, and they were murdered by the Bolsheviks. Here he is in the habit of one of the monks of Mount Athos. Now, Mount Athos is a peninsula in Greece which has got about 20 monasteries on it, and apparently women are not allowed onto the area. And that comes about because the Virgin Mary years ago said, "Oh, look, I'm so happy with this place. Can you turn," she asked her son Jesus, "can you turn this into my garden?" And he reserved the garden for her, and therefore no other women could go there. Such is the legend anyway. But looking at him, he's riding a mule across a stony ground, and look at the sneering look on the mule here. He has the garb of a monk, and yet these shoes here, they show to me They're almost like the shoes of a pirate or of a brigand. And the gold clasp here speaks of wealth. So I'm getting unlawfulness or lawlessness and wealth associated with him. In this chalice, there is the depiction of Cupid drawing his bow. He's holding the reins of the mule in his left hand, which points out towards you. And in the background here, there is a mob of peasants with torches advancing towards us. Now, as I have said on other occasions, court cards can, irrespective of how they are depicted, relate to either gender, but I'm going to refer to it as a man for the obvious reason. And this is someone who is somebody of some subtlety, secret violence, craft, an artist perhaps, somebody who appears, or an actor, somebody who appears calm on the outside, on the surface, but this just masks an intense passion to that bubbles underneath. Now, he has an ability to detach, and I think that comes from the air sign of your sign, Libra, and to detach from the heavy, intense, controlling emotions of Scorpio, which I see here. I think this energy shows poise and control of the emotions, but being detached and cool can often be a front for insecurity and fear. Now, usually the feminine asks the masculine to go deeper into his feelings, to join her in the place where the two meet as one in relationship. Now, elementally, as the knight, he is air and in the suit of water. Well, they're kind of friendly, but they can either be like a still pond or you can have huge seas, so you don't know what you're going to get with it. So, but with him, I think, the element of water combines with Scorpio to make him quite an intense character. As a fast river flows, so does he, trying to get the most out of life as is possible. Now, he is completely without conscience in the ordinary sense of the word. He is perfectly ruthless. He cares intensely for power, information, and his own aims. He feels no responsibility for others, and ultimately, he can't be relied upon. So you may well during this period appear calm, but it may well mask a passion and an intensity which could make you from time to time quite volatile. You'll have a lot to offer, and you'll have immense ability the way that he does. Now, he can't be relied upon, so you need to make sure that you do follow through with your commitments. This guy here can be secretive, hiding down his deepest desires. And again, I'm getting very much someone here who could be in arts or music or have an interest in things to do with beauty. You know, maybe decoration, fashion, hair, that type of thing, makeup. You will be able, I think, to provide, again, this feeling here that you'll be able to provide a good insight into other people's lives. Now, he's able to do that because he's usually done everything himself. But in your case, I think that this is because you'll have good wisdom during this time. Now, this may also represent a period of rest and healing that's necessary after what may have been a period of really something unsettling in your life. And this allows you to mend before you go back into a more productive phase. There's a great potential here for balance and harmony. There is an intensity here which resonates with Scorpio. It adds an emotional depth to a sexual relationship, giving it intensity. But it doesn't just mean sexual fulfillment, rather also getting the most out of life by living it to the full and using the energy of the sun in the intense sign of Scorpio. Well, what a fantastic set of cards. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, that was fantastic. I really enjoyed doing that. What a fascinating reading, and what a great month it looks like it's going to be for you. Now, please do me a favor, press the like button. It's good for the YouTube thing, and it's good for the channel. I appreciate it. And look, there's one thing I want you to remember until I see you next month, and it is this, and remember it always, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.